What is going on, misfortunate listeners? It is I, your fearless leader. Today I am solo dolo on this bitch. Today we have Telekinetic Yeti's Alex in the studio with us. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, man. I was so blown away by your performance in October, I believe. No, it was September, right?
Let me think here. It must have been like August.
Yeah, I was absolutely blown away. My co-host normally has some pretty good music taste, and he told me about you guys and how he saw you in 2016 in Chicago. He said you guys were from Dubuque, and I was like, well, let me try to get a hold of these guys. And I have been waiting for you guys for so long for you guys to play a show here in Dubuque. What is it like being back?
It was really great. That stage at the lift there, that's the stage we kind of grew up on, playing lots of shows and different bands over the years. So it had been a really long time. Actually, I'm trying to think. Last time we played Dubuque, I think was maybe December 2019. So it had definitely been a few years. So
Yeah, I believe that was. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it just felt really great to be back and see all our friends and everyone we went to shows with growing up.
Yeah, I actually heard about whenever I was doing my little poking around trying to learn about you guys. I was told that you guys used to play all age shows back at the lift when you were in high school.
Yeah, back let's see, I was in a couple different bands back then. Drift and Gunpoint Crush were the bands back then that I was a part of. And I was briefly also in a band called Prosthetic Face.
So when did Telekinetic Yeti form?
That was 2015.
2015. So has it? It's always been a two-piece, right? When did you decide to just say, "Fuck a bass player. I'm gonna load up a bass rig and a guitar rig and just run them through my guitar"?
Yeah, that was the whole idea from the start of this band. This is like a concept I had for a while of just wanting to do a two-piece band. So this was from the start it was just like, yeah, let's just have it just be guitar and drums.
So how collectively long do you think you've been playing live shows?
Like between all my bands or just as Yeti or?
Oh no, it's all your bands. Like, how long have you been on the stage? Whenever I saw you, it's such good stage presence. I mean, you at a lot of points during your show, you would get right up close and personal with the people in the crowd, playing, just jamming your fucking head off.
Hell yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Well, the first show I ever played at the lift was maybe, jeez, I want to say like 19 years ago or so.
Fuck.
Yeah, so that was a long time ago. And I want to say I was like 16 or 15, roughly. But yeah, and I don't know. It was just even before that, we played at a place called Boulevard Joe's. That was like a coffee shop, Loris Boulevard. But yeah, so I've pretty much been in bands for the majority of the last like 19 years. There's only been short periods where I wasn't. Some of the other bands I was in Dubuque also are Lost Apparitions and Wretches. And those are the last couple bands I had done before starting Yeti.
So whenever you started doing these shows, I mean, how does it feel to be doing these shows, to be going from playing, being 16, doing these local gigs at your coffee shops, all age shows, to now touring the fucking United States?
Yeah, it feels really good. It feels amazing. I mean, it's something I'd, always wanted to do. And we've been, fortunate enough in this band to be able to go on a bunch of tours. And, then obviously, like everybody else, things were halted during the pandemic. And like now being back at it just feels really good. And we're just really happy to be able to play shows again and tour and everything. So
I bet, man. I bet the pandemic was devastating to a lot of people. During the pandemic, did you write a lot of the new album Primordial?
some of it, but most of it was written, I guess, before the pandemic fully like kicked in. Then we recorded that in April of 2020. So
Hell yeah, hell yeah, yeah. It's got a great sound to it, man. My favorite song on that fucking album is Ghost Train. What is the one song that you were most proud of?
hmm. Um I really love all the songs, but if I had to pick one, I don't know, it would probably either be maybe Ancient Nog or maybe Stoned Ape Theory.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Do you guys ever play any of your old album?
Um, yeah, we play like this last tour we did, we played Stoned and Feathered and Abominable. Those were the only two songs that we were playing off the first album on our most recent tour. The rest was all just new material from Primordial.
Yeah, just kind of showcasing it off. That's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
so how did you and Rockwell meet?
Me and Rockwell met. Initially, me and him met quite a few years back. I want to say it was either like through some mutual friends or like my brother, perhaps. Um, yeah, so we've known each other for like over 10 years probably. And then we had actually previously we had been in a band years ago called Wretches for a while. And then he had actually gone off to music school in St. Paul. So with Yeti now, with him joining, it's kind of old friends meeting back up again to try to make new songs. So
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah,
yeah.
he's definitely a character, man. We met him at the end of the show. Whenever I met you, you had a fan walk up and try to smoke a joint with you. What is the craziest thing a fan has tried to get you to do? Get you to, I mean, you get a lot of joints. I mean, you are a stoner death metal band.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely get a lot of joints and it's nice, it's I don't know, when you're on the road, it's can be taxing on the body and everything like that, so it's it definitely is a nice thing to have on the road. So
Oh yeah, you guys definitely stopped in Colorado and checked out the crater. What did you think about that?
the crater that we went to was actually in Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, I want to say that was Arizona. Yeah. Yeah, and that crater was very, very cool. I think it was just called Meteor Crater, and it was really interesting because you first go down into it and it's really massive, but it's kind of hard to get an idea of like how huge it is just by looking at it. But it's really interesting because they have a couple like binocular type things you could look through,
Mhm.
and they have like a astronaut suit like way down deep in there, and when you look through there and you see, holy cow, and then you look at it with the naked eye, like that speck is the size of a person, and then you look at the whole place, it's like, wow, this is massive, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Was that like one of your favorite things that you saw on the road? I mean, you traveled all over the place.
yeah, I would say that was definitely one of the highlights or like coolest kind of like sightseeing type thing that we got to do, I guess. Like this last tour we did, was 2 months, and most of the days were really long drives, like often 6 to 8 hours or more. So
Jesus fuck, dude.
yeah, so there wasn't like a whole lot of downtime to do a whole ton of like sightseeing and exploring, but the crater was cool. Also, in Michigan, we got to hang out there by the lake. I forget which one it was, but that was really pretty and cool. But there was what should we call it? An algae bloom or whatever. So they were suggesting not to go in the water and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. But people were like down there anyway, like with their kids and swimming in it. And it's just kind of like, okay, this seems sort of questionable, but I guess that's up to them, so whatever. But yeah, it was cool. I always love just the drives, really just a lot of times just seeing the landscapes, changing across the US. I don't know. I guess some people that haven't seen a lot of it don't always realize like there's so much cool landscapes and scenery like right here in the US. Like you don't even have to really go to a different country to see some really cool stuff, So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly take living in the Midwest for granted sometimes. I mean, I hate it. I moved out east. I lived in North Carolina for a while, and I could honestly never get enough of the beach. But whenever I came back after a year being over there, I saw, hills and farmlands, and it was like, there are just moments that are just breathtakingly beautiful. You're driving down a dirt road, and you see like the sunset, and you got all the purples and all the fucking reds and the yellows, and it's just it is breathtaking. And you're right, a lot of people don't take advantage enough of the beauty that we actually have here in the country.
Right. No, totally. And I also understand a lot of people, can't afford to. And I guess one of the huge reasons I've obviously been able to see so much of it is just by doing the band thing, So I understand traveling is expensive, especially right now, with the gas prices and everything. It's tough. But I agree with you 1000% though, because I felt the same way a lot about like growing up in Dubuque. You kind of take it for granted. You don't really realize how pretty it is in certain ways and everything. And then once you see the whole country, yeah, there is a lot of places more like spectacular and grand and just like holy fuck, for beauty and stuff like that. But there's a lot of areas of the country that aren't very pretty either. So the Midwest, especially in the summer and the fall, it is really pretty. And especially Dubuque right there along the river with all the hills and stuff. It's cool. It's a good spot.
Yeah. Whenever I first moved here 3 years ago, it was nighttime. It was when we had that polar vortex apocalypse during the winter time, man. It was fucking terrible. There was ice all over the place. There was ice everywhere. Snow up to my fucking my knees, like coming from the beach. I didn't have any fucking jeans, nothing. I just came here in fucking shorts and a jacket. And I remember riding down the hill to get into Dubuque. You know how it's got that giant like rock formation going down into Locust High B?
Yeah.
It was absolutely, I was like, wow, this is where I'm going to be living now. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it's very, very pretty. Yeah, sometimes those hills though get a little dangerous, obviously, with the ice.
Scary, man. It's fucking terrifying. Anytime my work alarm goes off in the morning, it's like, fuck, I get to risk my life just going to this hellhole.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. For a while there, some years back, I lived on Loris Boulevard right there on the hill. So there's a lot of times just looking out my window, I saw like cars just straight up sliding sideways down the hill and stuff, when it was really, really bad and icy and stuff. And it's crazy. It's dangerous.
just a typical winter death trap in Iowa. No big deal. So with traveling, you said, how it can be really cost effective or not cost effective, how it's very costly. Does your record label TP Records take care of any of that stuff? Where does their help
end? Well, so as far as TP Records, they just help us with the release of the record, essentially, and help us with funding videos and stuff like that. And they do some promotional stuff as well. But touring is kind of like our own thing. They're not really as like directly involved in that, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like the records specifically.
I mean, that's cool. It definitely helps out with expenses because I mean, we're I mean, you know what it's like to be a independent artist. We're working on getting shirts and merch and all this other shit. It's just so fucking expensive, man. So
Yeah.
I mean, any kind of help, I guess, from any source is definitely, you know, welcomed. But God, fucking starting up sucks so much ass.
Yeah, it's definitely I think maybe people understand, maybe they don't, but I feel like just in general the average person probably doesn't understand like how much goes into getting a band up and running and being successful with it and getting the word out there. It's a lot of uphill battles, you know, and it's, yeah, to do it right, it's definitely expensive. Like to get good merch and to work with good artists and get good recordings, it's definitely not free, you know. So it's a tough hump to get over, so to speak, you know. So
yeah, and it's a slow and steady race, man. It's you know, you got to build your brand, you got to build your image, you got to have a fan base. And speaking of fan base, how does it fucking feel to? I mean, like I keep bringing this up, how it feels, but like it's crazy to like, I don't know, to put myself in your situation. You went from being 16, playing local shows, playing the coffee shop, like you said earlier, to having 10,000 plus listeners a month, man. That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane.
yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's nice that people are, you know, taking note and paying attention and everything, you know. Or it's, I guess, I don't know, I've been in a lot of bands over the years, and I don't know, honestly I think a lot of those bands were good, you know, but also in ways I've like learned all kinds of things like not to do too, you know what I mean? Like you just keep at it, you keep getting better, keep progressing. But I think most bands really underestimate like just like what they have to do to get the word out there and everything like that. And yeah.
So with the name Telekinetic Yeti,
Mm-hmm.
are you into cryptids? I mean, is that your niche, or like how did you land on that name?
Basically I just like had this idea for this, you know, the band, and I was writing riffs and things, and just I wanted to have a name that was attention grabbing, and that just I thought kind of represented how the music sounded in some way or another. And I just thought that a Yeti was fitting and cool, and just fit the vibe of the riffs basically. And I thought it would be cool if the Yeti had some sort of supernatural power or something like that. And I was just kind of looking at a list of different powers and whatever, and one of them was telekinetic, and I was like, Telekinetic Yeti. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And looked, and no band existed with that name, and I was like, holy shit, because a lot of names are taken. Like almost anything you could possibly think of is pretty much taken for band names. So to find one that's good and that isn't is hard.
Yeah, we whenever I was probably in my 20s, I tried to start a band with my co-host, and we were gonna go by the name Caligula, and I completely did not know that there was a band called Caligula's Horse, and I was like, well, that just shot this fucking thing out of the water. So I
Totally.
Yeah, then finding a name for the podcast, that was a bitch. I actually had some random person tell me, he's like, what if you did Meta Misfortune? I was like, I don't hate it. It's not like the worst thing I've ever heard. And I looked it up and I was like, it's not being taken. So like, fuck it. Let's do it. Full send.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think it works. So
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So what are your influences? I mean, being a stoner doom metal band, I mean, a lot of people associate you with Black Sabbath. Did you get a lot of your influences from them?
Yeah, on some level. I mean, I guess as far as I'm trying to think of where to start almost. I started playing guitar when I was 10 years old, and when I first started, I was learning just like, really simple stuff like Green Day and like Blink 182 and like whatever, and learned some like Nirvana and stuff like that. And Silverchair, that was a band that like those are just some of the first bands I started learning some of their songs. Then I remember I learned how to play Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. And I guess that's kind of like a typical funny thing that
Yeah.
people joke about someone learning, right? But learning that song did start making me better as a guitarist because there's like some different chords in there that are harder. There's like different things, and let's see. So I got into like Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix. That was like a huge one. And that was one that was like really inspiring to me to want to play electric guitar. But then I guess, I don't know, when I was like around 16, the band At the Drive-In was a huge influence on me.
Yes, dude. Fuck yes. Hell yes.
They were one of the bands that like changed everything for me from like, I don't know, going from listening to a lot more just kind of like radio friendly, whatever stuff, poppy, to kind of, I don't know, I guess branching out into different things and eventually getting the heavier and heavier stuff. But yeah, so At the Drive-In was a big influence on me as I was getting better as a guitar player. And the Mars Volta, that was like another huge one. And then I guess Meshuggah.
Yes.
Is a big. I don't know. I guess I like a lot of like stuff that's like fairly progressive, but like that still kicks ass. I guess it's not like dorky progressive. You know what I mean? It's like in a cool way.
yeah. No, I totally get you.
Yeah, but then like as far as like more obvious influences, I guess, or like like for Yeti specifically, like I don't know, some of the influences that probably shine through the most are like Black Sabbath, Sleep
Is fucking great.
Maybe Electric Wizard a little bit. I don't know. It's just but I don't know. It's just let's see, The Sword, like their album Age of Winters is one that I really love, and they actually just announced that they just broke up actually.
Yep.
But The Sword is really good. Elder is really good. I don't know. There's a lot of really good stuff out there, but honestly, a lot of times it's listening to bands like Meshuggah or bands with like weird timing stuff or just whatever that will like kind of inspire me to be like, I want to go pick up my guitar and write a Yeti song. Actually, like
you hear something and it just influences the fuck out of you to the point where you're like, all right, I need to go pick up my guitar and play something or I'm gonna like go nuts.
Well, I just really love just heavy stuff, and I love it when bands do something timing wise or something with the riff or just something with the change of the part that just really grabs you or just feels really fresh, or there was just something they did with it that you're like, oh, I never would have thought of that, and that's fucking awesome. Like just hearing just heavy off time, like whatever stuff is often what like inspires me to just want to go like pick up my guitar. Oh, another band that I really like too is Bong Ripper. As far as like doom bands, Bong Ripper, we've done multiple tours now with Weed Eater, and we have one coming up again with them. They're another amazing band. I don't know, there's so many good bands that I could name off that I love, I guess, in the genre, so to speak. But I guess usually when I'm writing, it's just kind of really coming from within, kind of. I'm not really thinking of anything in particular, if that makes any sense. Just like
zoning out and doing your thing.
I just usually get really high, hit record, and just like sometimes what happens is good and sometimes what happens isn't good, but you just, as a writer, you sort through kind of like, okay, sometimes I'll do something like that was fucking badass and then start branching off of that, so
that's really fucking cool. What's your favorite Mars Volta album? I'm a huge Mars Volta fan, and when you said at the drive-in, dude, it just fucking made my whole day.
Hell yeah. So for the Mars Volta, my favorite album of theirs, I don't know if this is like the typical response or not really, but Deloused in the Comatorium.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably like my all-time favorite, but I have to say their first EP, Tremulant, from before that came out, that's right up there, like with Deloused for me. Like they're both really interesting, and shit, when I heard both of those albums like when I was younger, they completely just blew me the fuck away.
Changes you as a person, man. I'm telling you, I have the same musical background growing up. It was a lot of radio friendly stuff. My dad was super into Zeppelin and Kiss, and Kiss was all right for me. It's a hit or miss, but Zeppelin with all the blues, it's so fucking good. So I totally see where you're coming from. And I remember like breaking away. I want to say it was probably like around like American Rejects, and I was like, holy fuck, there's other music. Like, what do you mean there's other fucking music? And it kind of just off from there, man. So I totally understand.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and it's kind of funny, even going back further. Well, I guess around that time too, like before I personally had, you know, internet with like, you know, a Napster type service or anything like that. Like another band I liked around the time I was first starting to play guitar is Limp Bizkit.
Hell too, you know? Yeah. Did it all for the nookie, baby. Let's fucking go.
You know, it's funny. You can say what you want about Limp Bizkit. I know they're a band that gets a lot of hate and, you know, whatever. I guess some could argue that they're this or that or whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, you do have to admit their music is very catchy.
Dude, and it bumps, man. And it gets you, like, aggressive. Like, it makes you want to, like obviously they have break stuff. And you're like, fuck, I want to fucking destroy my room right now.
Yeah, like some of that stuff's funny. Like I feel like sometimes like lyrically they're not exactly like always my exact cup of tea, but it's funny though. Like
oh yeah.
I don't know, it's there's something silly about it, I guess, in a sense. But you know, at that time period, back before I had, you know, music downloading, you know, as far as radio, whatever bands that were on like The Box or MTV, like they were like one of the heavier bands that were cool.
New metal, man. It was fucking solid when it was at its time. I mean, I still love it, dude. Just like 2 nights ago, I was listening to Blind by Korn. I love new metal, and the fact that it's gone is kind of disappointing. I mean, I love it now. I don't want any more, but like I'm totally fine with it. And Fred Durst, man, he does get a lot of fucking hate for reasons I don't understand. I think he's got a couple like parts in some of his songs where he sounds a little bit whiny, but that's just his like vocal range.
Right.
And that's like the only thing I'm like, but everything else is great, man. It gets me in the mood. Fucking anything.
Yeah. Like, you know, I can't recall. I feel like there was like some specific things that he maybe did that made people kind of like, I don't know. I swear that they did something douchey. I can't really remember. But
the one thing I could think of is probably like the '99 Woodstock. But like a lot of that wasn't their fault. They were just, you know, they're just the band that was playing, and people just lost their absolute fucking minds.
Right. No, for sure. And yeah, that's unfortunate what happened with that. Yeah, for sure. You know, another band around that time when I was first starting to play guitar that was a huge influence as well. That's probably obvious is Rage Against the Machine.
Some Tom Morello.
I feel like out of a lot of those so-called rap metal bands or whatever you want to call it, new metal, I feel like Rage Against the Machine definitely like stood the test of time, probably the best.
I'm pretty sure they're back on tour, right? They're playing shows again, I think.
Yeah, I heard they were, and what was it? I'm pretty sure Zach, their singer, hurt his leg or something. So I think that maybe they had postponed some things, but I'm not exactly.
Oh, what a fucking bummer.
Yeah.
So I have a question about your guitar. You said you were a big Hendrix fan. Is that why you got the V?
You know, that probably I feel like that is at least partially the inspiration, you know, like or even mostly maybe. I don't know. When I was quite young, remember one time I went to the mall with my mom and got a Hendrix DVD, and at a certain point it was a live DVD, basically just like a live show, and at a certain point in that he busted out the V, and I was just like, holy shit, that's fucking badass. And I think that, yeah, I don't know, that was definitely a big part of the reason. But I don't know, I just love how they look, really. I think they're one of the coolest looking guitars. So it's just I don't know. I guess it just is what it is. And I don't know. I just love the vibe. So
it definitely fits you. It definitely fits you. Your vocal range is insane. Have you always been the front man for your groups, or have you just been the guitar guy until Yeti came around?
Yeah, it's been a mix of some different stuff. My first band I was ever in, Drift, I was the vocalist. My band Gunpoint Crush, I was not the vocalist, although I did do some backups. And then let's see here, Wretches, we did a couple shows where I did the vocals, but I don't know, I guess for a long time I just wanted to have vocalists and stuff like that. It was just, you know, easier, and just whatever, I could just focus on playing the guitar and just going fucking crazy, basically.
Yeah, you have a song on the album where you just shred, right? I'm almost positive, where it's like a 3-minute long song where you just fucking just shred the entire time, right?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, I guess I'm not exactly sure which one in particular. Are you talking about where it's just the guitar?
It's just the guitar.
Yeah, that one's Light in a Dying World, and I think it's maybe around 1.5 or 2 minutes or something. But yeah. So sorry, what were you wondering about that one?
Fuck, I forgot. Don't worry, we'll cut this part. It's all good.
Okay.
I've been smoking.
Me too. I was just smoking as well, and it's hit me hard. I got some pretty good stuff. So.
While you were in Colorado, while you were in all these legal states, you're back in Iowa. Fucking bummer. There's no legal weed. Where is the best weed shop you went to, and what was this? Do you remember what the fucking strain was called? Because fuck, I'd love to smoke what you're smoking right now.
You're wondering what the best strain is that we had on the whole tour,
yeah.
or just
and the dispensary that you went to?
Yeah. It's a really good question. You know, I smoked. I don't know. I smoked a lot of different stuff, and geez, you know, it's honestly kind of hard to remember exactly which was which.
Are you normally like a indica or sativa guy?
It depends. I do generally like, I don't know. I usually go for a sativa. Like probably my favorite strain, one of my favorite strains ever is Jack Harar. I think that's how you say it. And that's a sativa, and it's very uplifting and kind of a bit more energizing. But I also love like indicas. Like I like Kushes, like just Kush in general, and I don't know, like a lot of different stuff. But let's see, Slurricane, that's a good one that I know I had on the tour. Specific dispensaries. My memory is too fucked to be able to tell you.
Dude, you're good. You're good. It's been a couple months, so I totally get it. Are you excited for this new tour that you're about to do? You just got home. You just got fucking home, and you're about to fucking leave again. God damn, dude.
Yeah. It's very exciting. You know, I don't know. I don't want to really be inactive for long periods of time, and the only reason we were here last time is the COVID stuff. So, we're excited to be back out. And yeah, November 10th through November 20th with Weed Eater, starting in, I think we start in North Carolina and kind of do some like upper East Coast stuff. So it's gonna be awesome. Like we just absolutely love touring with those guys. They just fucking absolutely crush it every night and have the coolest like fans and everything. So it's gonna be super fun.
So Alex, what is the biggest band you guys have played with or toured with?
Probably either Clutch or Black Label Society.
So did you get to meet Zach Wild?
Yeah,
What
briefly.
for brief? I mean, that's something. That's cool as fuck though.
Yeah, basically, we were there getting set up, ready to sound check, and he came up and introduced himself. And well, he didn't introduce himself. He asked who we were and shook our hand and everything, and
Oh
it was
yeah.
pretty surreal, you know. So it was
Are
really
you
cool.
are you a big fan of them? I mean, was it like something that's like almost meeting your hero type deal, or was it? I mean, because Zach's a fucking a shredder, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're definitely a really great band. They weren't like one of the ones that I listened to all the time or anything growing up, but obviously, I have massive respect for it, and I think they're great. And obviously, him working with Ozzy is amazing, and you know, it was definitely, definitely one of the highlights of my career to get to meet him. That was very fucking cool. So.
Hell yeah. So man, I got one more question, and we got to call it a day. What do you? I mean, you said earlier that you like to keep busy. What do you do during your downtime whenever you're home off a tour? Is it mostly just recuperating or what?
Um, yeah, it depends. You know, a lot of the time in the band, especially when I was getting off the ground, like I had, you know, different jobs and things like that during the day and stuff. But currently, I'm not working or anything. I've just been laying low, and I guess yeah, it did take a bit to recover after that last tour. That 2 month one was like super intense, and you know, I've just been just kind of casually writing some new music, just starting to do a little bit of brainstorming and whatever for the next album. So
Do you have any new
yeah,
songs written for the new album?
yeah, I do. Actually have a whole bunch of different ideas, and it's just kind of a matter of uh, you know, just kind of a matter of sorting through and deciding what to use, what not to use. It's usually just like a process that I don't like to rush too much. I'll just kind of know when I have the correct selection of songs that I feel like is the album that I want to put out, you know.
Nice.
But I just feel like it's good to just kind of be always writing when you can, you know. And a lot of the times with the band stuff, once you get an album out and then you're touring all the time, sometimes you'll get offer after offer after offer. It can be really easy for like a year to disappear, and you haven't, you know, hardly written anything because you're just always either on tour or recuperating from tour, getting ready to go on tour. That there's just, you know, not a lot of time. So
Yeah, and
we
I'm
write
sure.
when we work on it when we can, you know.
Oh,
And
I'm sure you get like a lot of creative blocks whenever you're on the road. I mean, you're just seeing the same thing over and over again, except for new landscapes and stuff that we talked about earlier. I'm sure in your position, I'm sure it gets really fucking difficult sometimes.
well, it's just wouldn't really say that. It's just creativity takes time, and I think that you know, it's just, how would I say it?
How
Like, you know,
perfection?
I write material all the time, you know. Every time I pick up my guitar and I'm improvising, I'm sort of writing in a sense, you know. And like it's I don't know. It just takes time, you know, until you, I don't know, just write enough stuff that you feel like is a record, you know. I don't know.
Dude, I cannot thank you enough, Alex. Thank you so much for being on the show. I hope your next tour goes fantastic. Please let me know the next time you guys are going to be in Dubuque. Cannot wait to see you again. That is Alex from Telekinetic Yeti. Check out their album Primordial. It is 11 songs of straight stoner doom metal. It is fan-fucking-tastic. If you haven't heard it by now, they've got a music video on YouTube called Ancient Nug. Alex, if you want to plug anything, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, we'll be on tour November 10th to 20th with Weed Eater, and our new album Primordial is out right now through TP Records. You can go to their website tprecords.com and pick up a copy of the new record, or anytime we're playing shows we have them for sale as well, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, thanks so much for having me, and it was fun chatting. So
dude, it was honestly a huge privilege. I wish my co-host Riley would have been here. He would have been able to talk about the memories of 2016, seeing you, to, you know, just seeing you 2 months ago and how everything's changed. Again, thank you so much for being on. It has been an honor to talk to you, dude. I cannot wait to see you again. Fucking stay heavy. I cannot thank you enough, honestly. I believe we're out. Stay misfortunate and always listen to mom.